and much, much more. All live to you in crystal clear, smooth streaming video. LDL TV, live down the line, the best every time. LDL TV streaming live to you the best in amateur USA and Golden Gloves events, professional boxing, live mixed martial arts, major concerts, music, comedy, special red carpet events.
And we're coming to you live from Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria, Italian Ristorante in beautiful St. Simon's Island, Georgia. I'm Billy C. I'm joined with Carl King and the man himself, Sal Rocky Cenicola. Welcome to Billy C's Triple G David Lemieux pre-fight show. Now, don't go anywhere, because after the fight, we're going to be doing a post-fight show right here. And Carl and Sal, let's start talking about the fights that we're anticipating to come on the pay-per-view event. First and foremost, and I'm going to talk about these fights in the order in which I think that they're going to be shown to us.
Right.
Okay. So if they throw us a curve, don't kill us too much. But the first fight, we were actually talking about this before. I love this fight. As a matter of fact, I love every single fight on this pay-per-view, guys. The only one that I'm a little iffy about is the Luis Ortiz heavyweight fight. Not that I don't think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I just don't think either one of these guys deserve a so-called title fight, but we'll get to that in a second. First one, middleweight fight, Torino Johnson going up against Aman O'Kane. This is an IBF elimination fight for a title, so the winner of this fight will get a world title shot. Both of these guys weighed in on point. Johnson weighed 159.4. Aman O'Kane came in at 160 even. O'Kane is from Ireland, and he's never fought in the U.S. You're going to see that with a couple of fights here. He's fought in Ireland and in England exclusively. He's 33 years old. He's got a record of 14-1 with 5 knockouts, and he steps in with a guy that I absolutely love in Torino Johnson, who has only lost once, and that loss was against Curtis Stevens. He's ranked at number 48 in the world by the computer. I mean, our rankings have him that low too, but I mean, he's a much better fighter. You know, this is one of those rare cases where I think that the computer ranking is actually could be a little higher. You know what I mean?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Tonight's the night that tells. You know, separates the men from the boys. It's a great opportunity to be on a show of this magnitude, and for both guys, Johnson and O'Kane, having his American debut. It's time for him to show the world what he's got.
Sal, Torino Johnson has got his style. Is a come at you type fighter. He's a boxer puncher. You know,
right.
That's the way I would call him. I mean, he does box, but he does come at you. He's got a good chin. He's got some punching power. He's 5'10", orthodox fighter. Now he steps in the ring with Aman O'Kane, who's very similar. Now, I've never seen Aman O'Kane fight, so I can't honestly tell you what style he fights, but height-wise, there's the same. When you used to fight going in against an opponent that, you know, has the same physical attributes that you have, does it change your game plan at all? I know we were talking earlier, like if a shorter fighter's got to get in or if a bigger fighter's got an arm reach and a jab advantage. I mean, we got to assume that these guys are going in 50-50.
You got to assume that. And as you said, I think Johnson, you know, he's got some proven record here, and we know about him. O'Kane, it's his first time fighting outside or in America anyway. And a lot of times fighters, it's all mental at this point.
Absolutely.
How he's going to rise to the occasion, how he's going to showcase and display what his talents and ability are. So you could see Johnson has this style of a boxer puncher or so. You know, that's my style. I love that. And you know what? I always favored and I loved fighting taller opponents because it gave me more room to move and to get inside and to mix it up and body and like we all said tonight, you kill the body, the head dies. And what happens when you fight a shorter opponent, you step back, you reassess, and you could box. So there's trade-offs. I think for the first time these guys step in the ring, you're going to see they're not going to go right at each other, I don't think, immediately, but I think you're going to see they're going to try and sense or feel each other out for at least the first minute.
Well, Torino Johnson's got a 68% knockout percentage in his 19 professional fights, and Aman O'Kane does not. He's got a 31% knockout ratio, 14 wins, only 5 knockouts. It seems like this was a guy that was totally handpicked for Johnson in this fight. Carl, what's your thoughts?
Well, you know what, Johnson's only loss came to a guy that can punch a little bit. I mean, it might have been a premature stoppage.
I thought so.
But he is a proven guy. Now you got a guy coming in for the first time. No one really knows. I remember Prince Nassim Ahmed came, and his American debut did not fare that well. Klitschko's did not look that good. So you have to, take in the fact that there's a time change. It's a different time zones. Depending on how long you've been here to be acclimated. The crowd's against you. You're still in awe of the great United States of America. You never really know how a guy's going to react. And he's in with a guy, and I'm talking about Kane is in with a guy that can really, really fight. So it's, I don't know much about O'Kane, but I think Johnson should have it go his way somewhat.
Well, we're in beautiful St. Simon's Island, Georgia.
Yes, we are.
And we've been eating some great food at Sal's restaurant here. But the reason why I bring that up is because Torino Johnson is from the state of Georgia. So, I know that the guys inside are looking forward to college football with Georgia playing in a little bit.
Okay.
But a little tidbit, Torino Johnson is a Georgian. So we'll be good for that. Now, here's the one thing I want to mention about Aman O'Kane is that this guy is 33 years old. Johnson's 31. On paper, they match up very well.
Very close.
Here's the best part. Remember, I was talking about the computer ranking of Torino Johnson. The computer has him ranked at 48, at number 48. The computer has Aman O'Kane at number 39.
Wow.
Who's 48?
Torino Johnson. So Aman O'Kane actually has a better computer
I did
ranking.
not know that.
Well, when I look at these two guys' records, I see really one opponent that I know that Aman O'Kane has fought and beat, and that was Kerry Cope back in 2013. Kerry Cope is a pretty decent middleweight. When you look at Torino Johnson, he's got 2 big wins, Mike Gravonsky and Willie Fortune, both big wins for Johnson. His loss, like you mentioned, came in the hands of Curtis Stevens.
And Curtis Stevens was part of that chin checkers when they first came out. He's decent. His career started out really good and kind of took a downslide lately, but he's not an easy win.
I like this. I like this matchup. I think that at least on paper, it looks like it's a good fight. I'm leaning towards Torino Johnson in this. Sal, what's your thoughts?
I would lead towards Johnson as well. And whenever you come to the United States of America, you are on the world stage.
That's right.
And that's what O'Kane is going to face. Can he rise to the occasion? He's only had 15 professional fights, and I say only because you fight in your backyard or maybe next country over or whatever. You're still not on the world stage, especially where he's from. But I think coming here, he's got to rise to the occasion. This is going to be his chance to be showcased. So whatever he's dealing with upstairs is going to show what he can do in the ring tonight. But I think there's a great opportunity for both fighters to move up in the rankings, to be dominant, to see who wins this fight. That's it.
Well, the guy comes over.
Well, what's your prediction?
I definitely think Johnson is going to have the upper hand. I go with Johnson.
What's your thoughts, Carl?
He's a Georgia boy.
You know what? Georgia.
Georgia's on my mind.
Georgia's on my mind. Yes,
Yours
it
too,
is.
see?
Yeah, but if O'Kane, a lot of these guys come over here recognizing the fact that this is the hugest opportunity.
This is it.
Of their career. And if the other guy takes him lightly, it may change the complexion of the fight. But if Torino Johnson is the kind of guy that's looking to advance himself, he has to go out and win, and he has to take the heart right away from the guy traveling across the water. So it's a matter of who takes control first. And they're equally on paper. They look pretty equal, but again, I've never seen O'Kane fight, so it's difficult for me to tell until I see him fight at least a round or so. But it's a good matchup, but I think I'm going to have to go with the American. Only in America has one king would say.
One king would say to another, hey.
All three of us are going to pick Torino Johnson. I think it's a big fight for him. I think that the winner of this fight not only is it an IBF title elimination fight, but I think that some doors are going to open. It's a great opportunity for Amano Kane. Coming to the U.S., I will say this, a lot of the European fighters have been coming over here and finding some success because of the cherry picking that we've been talking a lot about off the air with some of these fighters. And Sal's got his segment on the Talk of Boxing with Billy C show. It comes on every week, and it's something that we have a tendency to talk about all the time. And it's starting to show why we say that these fights, you gotta increase the level of your opposition, and tonight's going to be another one of those tests for an American fighter. So we're all three of us are picking Torino Johnson in this. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I don't think it's going to go to the final bell.
No, I don't believe it will either. You got two boxer punchers right now, and they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna go out and let's see who wants to be dominant early, and let's see who can take the pressure and dish it back.
I just want to thank the BoxingBrainHealth.com if you're looking to think a little more clearly and increase your memory and alertness. Check out www.boxingbrainhealth.com. It's not just for boxers; it's for everyone. Also, LDL TV, who's producing this show. We're happy to be part of that. Southern Gourmet Spice Company. If you're looking for a unique spice that tastes good on everything, makes everything taste better, unless you're eating here at Sal's Neighborhood Restaurant Pizzeria, because it doesn't need anything. But check out my man Kenny Bear's Barbecue Rub, and you can get some of that by visiting www.southerngourmetspice.com, and of course BillyCBoxing.com. You can check out our show daily, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Next fight is a heavyweight fight that is actually for a title. You know, this cracks me up. You know, the WBA to me is synonymous with garbage, and I mean garbage as in garbage. They have more titles. I don't think there's enough fighters that can wear all the titles. I mean, think about it. In every single weight division, they have 5 champions that all claim. Here's another example. This fight is a heavyweight fight between Luis Ortiz, who's a fighter with an undefeated record, which I'll get to, 22-0. He's ranked number 47 in the world by the computer, and he's going in against a guy that Carl and myself had never even heard of, Mateus Ariel Vidundo. And Vidundo, he's only been beaten once, but this is his first fight in the United States. All of his other fights, all 21 of his pro fights, have been in Argentina. He's 38 years old. We don't know much about this guy, Carl.
No, but you know what I do know? Argentinian fighters are typically very strong. They typically can punch pretty decent. But they, you know, it depends. I mean, you look at the latest, the more recent Argentinians, like Lucas Matisse or Marcus Maidana. These guys can actually fight. So if this guy is anything like that as a heavyweight, well, you know, Mr. Ortiz, I'm a little worried about him personally because, you know, Cuban fighters have a tendency to get to America and enjoy the luxuries of America. So I'm not really sure. You know what? I'm not. This one is a difficult one for me to pick. But if I have to go with somebody, I'm calling an upset. I'm going with the Argentinian.
Sal, Luis Ortiz is a southpaw. He's 6'4". Vidundo is 38 years old. He's an orthodox fighter. Do you think, you know, we talked earlier about southpaws and sometimes when an orthodox fighter goes up against southpaw, which has always amazed me because, I mean, there's plenty of southpaws you can get for sparring, but they seem so, you know, a fish out of water. Is this going to be a plus or a minus for Luis Ortiz?
I think fighting a southpaw will definitely give him something to think about.
Who's the southpaw?
Ortiz.
Okay, so we are looking at
a lot
Ortiz.
Of Cubans are southpaw.
A lot of Cubans are southpaw, and Redondo coming into this fight, well, I don't know his history, how many southpaws he may have faced, but I think that he'll definitely have the advantage. Ortiz should have the advantage of being a southpaw, fighting an orthodox fighter on that level. Carl, you made some great points about the Argentinian fighters that we've seen of late.
They are tough.
They are tough. They come to fight. They come to win.
And they're strong.
Yes.
And I just noticed that a more recent group of Cuban fighters that have come to America, they have a great amateur pedigree, and they're skillful, but they have a tendency to fall prey to the luxuries of America. They overeat. They don't commit themselves as much as they possibly should.
They lose the eye of the tiger.
And a lot of times guys fall short of their potential. I'm not sure if I'm not predicting that happens to Luis Ortiz, but I'm saying he's in with a guy who's never been here before. I don't think it's going to phase him. These Argentinians are strong. And when they first show up here, like Madonna showed up on Victor Ortiz, Madonna showed up again with Adrian Broner. I mean, these guys, they are strong, they are tough, and I don't think they don't have any fear in their heart. So we're going to see. I just think it's going to come down to whether or not Luis Ortiz is committed enough, dedicated enough, and passionate enough to be the guy that he was as an amateur.
Well, one of the best Argentine fighters ever, Carlos Monzon.
Carlos Monzon.
Yeah, what was his first name again? I didn't hear it. What was that?
Carlos.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Yes, what a great name.
Luis Ortiz, actually, we got to broadcast, and I got to call one of Luis Ortiz's first fights here in the States, right here on LDL TV. So that took place a couple of years back. As a matter of fact, it took place on April 2nd in 2011 at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, Florida.
Who fought there?
He fought there. You were at that fight. And he knocked Ortiz knocked out Jerry Butler in the third round on the undercard. Now, when I take a look at Luis Ortiz's record, early in his career when he first came over to the States, he fought Kendrick Relaford, who was a decent fighter in Florida. He fought Zach Page in Florida. And Zach Page, a lot of people look at his record and think he's a
difficult fighter.
He's a tough fighter. He also beat Burt Cooper in 2011. Although Burt Cooper was 105 years old, he still was a tough out. But when you look at this guy's record, 22-0, there's no name that really sticks out that you say, he beat so-and-so. He did beat Efefino Mendoza. He beat Monty Barrett. And he also beat a guy named Joseph Rabanti, whose record is 11-25. Monty Barrett.
Barrett at one time was a very, very, very excellent prospect.
This is true, and I think that when you look at his resume, that's the only name on it, with the exception of Latif Coyote, in which he fought in 2014, September 2014. However, that was the fight that he tested positive for steroids and was banned for 6 months, and he gets rewarded with a layup fight against Brian Polly, and now this fight. My problem with this is that here's a guy in Luis Ortiz, who I don't have anything against personally, but he kind of gets this easy path. He cheats, he does his time, and he's immediately back in another shot.
Let me ask you something. How did he knock Zach Page out, or did that go the distance?
Nobody knocked Zach Page out.
I know that. I'm just curious.
Except for him. He stopped him in the 8th round.
8th round. Okay. Well, but he might have been jacked up. You never know. I don't know about the steroid thing, but look, we're living in the age of performance enhancing drugs, not only in boxing and baseball and all kind of sports, but we're at least trying to clean it up in the sport with WADA and things of that nature. I just think that a guy that's coming from Argentina, if he's a typical Argentinian fighter and he's hungry, he has a shot against anybody. It's just anybody, and I'm just, maybe Ortiz is that guy. We'll see, because it wasn't long ago when I'm trying to think of the heavyweight that fought Ray Austin in Miami. Can't think of his name. I know when Brain did, but at one time
you're talking about the kid from Beacon.
From Cuba.
Oh.
I just can't call his name right now, but He also was a very highly touted Cuban fighter coming around the same time as Gamboa and them guys in this heavyweight, and he didn't fare that well when he got to the upper echelon of the heavyweight division. So maybe Ortiz is that guy.
You're not talking about Mike Perez, are you?
No, not Mike Perez. Oh man, this is the first time this is happening to me.
You should try BoxingBrainHealth.com. It helps you with your memory. But you know, when I look at Matias Redondo, I see
I gotta get it here. I gotta get it.
It works
It
because
works.
I even know how to pronounce my last name since I've been taking it. But listen, Redondo, you know, when you look at his record, you know, 21 fights.
Solis.
He's got,
that's his name.
Oh,
Solis.
Solis.
Okay, I need the delay thing. You know what I mean? It's like birthdays are occurring too often for me, folks. That's all.
He's a guy. Solis was a waste of talent, but
he fought for the world's title. He was a very talented amateur, and he enjoyed the American luxury. That's the biggest problem I see with
you're right.
most Cuban fighters.
Because once they get here, the victory is theirs already.
They're already on on an automatic fast in Cuba.
Right.
They get here and they can have whatever they want.
They get to say when they want to run.
My point.
Right.
So if Ortiz is a dedicated type of fighter, a committed fighter, and it sounds like he is because he's been here for a number of years, maybe that's the difference. But all I'm saying is that most Argentinian fighters are very strong. They stay in decent shape. And even though I don't know much about him, I've never seen him, never heard of him before, and that's what's surprising to me. And that's why I think he got a shot.
When we look at this guy,
Believe it or not.
he's got his only loss, a knockout loss, was against Irinu Bioto Costa Jr. when he was 9-0. Well, that guy's been fighting everybody as an opponent lately, and he fought him back in 2011 when Costa Jr. was 9-0. But when you look at Redondo, the best win on his whole record happens to be his last fight, which was a year ago, October 11th last year. He fought Marcilio Fabian Dominguez. Wow. I personally think that he's been brought in here to try to make Luis Ortiz look good. I think that the lack of any of us have ever seen him, and regardless if he's from Argentina or not, I think that this guy is not going to get through this fight.
You know what's
everybody from Argentina is not that tough.
No,
but you know, the Jorge Castros. I mean, they had some tough fighters come out of there. No, maybe this guy is not it, and maybe he's gonna make me look like a guru here in a little bit.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. But I've never seen him fight, but...
well, he weighs 261 pounds.
So he got a shot.
He's a big Argentinian.
And Luis Ortiz, who's 6'4", weighed in at 237.8, which is actually in pretty good shape.
That's pretty good shape.
So we already got Carl's official prediction.
No.
Well, you change it now? Wait. Don't make us hit rewind.
I'm backpedaling. No, but I'm going to stick with it.
Right.
You know what? I said it, and I'm going to have to live with it. I'm guessing because I've never seen either one of these guys really. I mean, I did see Ortiz, but again, in Jupiter, Florida, it wasn't like I was really paying that close attention. But I'm going with the guy I never even heard of.
There you go.
So there it is.
How about you, Sal?
Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
That sounds like a song. I will tell you this. Remember the name Paul Harvey? Paul Harvey, and then he'd say
Matt Harvey with
Paul Harvey.
And now for the rest of the story.
Are you giving me the Paul Harvey story?
I'm giving the Paul Harvey the whole story. I didn't know the whole story about Redondo until you just chimed in, Billy C, about him taking some time off and his weight and his size. So you know, I'm probably gonna look and see what the Ortiz is gonna deliver tonight. And I'm gonna go with Ortiz.
Yeah,
what's it got to do with Paul Harvey?
Because you know what? I'm gonna tell you what. You know what? No, I'm gonna lose you, but I'm gonna catch you up right now. Here's why. Because you would hear a segment of a news story, and then Paul Harvey would chime in and said, "And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of the story." That's what Billy C gave us. The rest of the story about Valdana about his
Okay.
past, about his settlement. So now that I have a little bit more of the pieces of the puzzle, I think we can make a little decision.
I'm still trying to figure out who Paul Harvey is.
I'm
I don't know who he is. So.
He was. He's no longer with us. He was a really nice guy.
Okay,
and,
I'm sorry to hear that. God rest his soul.
I'm very critical of showcase fights at this level. I'm always criticizing Showtime and the PBC series for bringing us high-level fights, and we end up getting a showcase shoved down our throat. For these first two fights that we're talking about, they're exactly that. Although I want to see Torino Johnson fight because I like his style and I hope for bigger and better things, I kind of feel the same way about Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz has it all. He's got the height. He's got the pedigree as far as the Cuban amateur system. He's no spring chicken at 36 years old. He seemingly is coming in shape. I think that they have picked out Vidundo to make Luis Ortiz look good. Whether he can go to that next level or not, we'll talk about that at a future time. But like Sal, I'm picking Luis Ortiz to win and win in a big fashion. I think that he's going to stop Vidundo.
We'll see.
For those two fights, I believe they're showcases, although I think they're going to be entertaining showcase fights. But we get to the meat of this pay-per-view card right now. We got two fantastic fights coming as the co and main event. First one is the co-main event. Many people believe Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is pound for pound the best fighter in the world today. As a matter of fact, this is a guy that has a record of 43-0. Many believe that he will surpass the 50-0 record. I'll get to some of his opponents in a second, but he steps in the ring against another proven guy in Brian Valeria. Like you said earlier, the Hawaiian Punch. This guy is a former world flyweight champion, a former junior flyweight champion.
Olympian.
This is a class act fighter. Huge fight. Coming our way. As far as weights go, both fighters came in on point. Roman Gonzalez weighed 111.4, and so did Brian Valora. They both weighed the same. My foot weighs 111.4 pounds.
I was going to tell you that.
Come on. This is going to be an action-packed fight. To tell you the truth, it's really, as much as everybody loves Gonzalez, guys, Brian Valora is not a fighter you want to take lightly. He's ranked at number 6 in the world by the computer. What's your thoughts, Carl?
Brian Valora coming out. I remember when he was coming out of amateurs, he was highly touted, and he lives in Hawaii. And it's not many fighters come from Honolulu. I have a dear friend that lives there now, and to say hello, Eddie. But anyway,
aloha, Eddie.
And mahala. But anyway, I'm thinking Brian Valoria, this could be his last opportunity at the big brass ring. Chocolatito Gonzalez, now I know a little something about fighters from Managua, Nicaragua, okay? There was we talk about the Matador, Ricardo Mayorga, who upset Vernon Forrest in January 25th of 2003, came a long way, and he gave Trinidad all he can handle, and a lot of guys out. He fought some of the best guys of his era.
And he smoked the best cigars that money could buy.
And cigarettes and everything. The guy was just, he was a real promoter's dream to have a guy like that. And I had the pleasure of managing him through most of those fights. And it was always a very interesting time with him. And there was a guy named Alexis Arguello that came out of Managua, Nicaragua. So you have some excellent fighters that come out of there. But this kid here seems to be perhaps maybe the best of the lot. And that's saying quite a bit when you got a guy named Alexis Arguello in that mix. So Chocolatito Gonzalez is, I think, his only problem is that he's 111 pounds. If he was a middleweight, a light heavyweight, he would be bigger than U.S. Steel. This kid can flat out fight. There is nothing. He's almost flawless in his technique and his ability and his punching ability. So Brian Valoria, I have the utmost respect for him, but I do not believe he is in the same class at this stage of his career that Chocolatito Gonzalez is. So my pick is all the way Nicaragua. Managua, Nicaragua is in Chocolito Gonzalez.
Sal, Brian Valoria, like Carl was just saying, I mean, this guy, when you look at the flyweight and junior flyweight divisions, this guy has fought everybody. I mean, he's got wins over Ulises Solis, also Hernan Tyson Marquez when he was in his prime. One of my favorite little guys, Giovanni Segura, Omar Nino Romero. I mean, Juan Francisco Estrada he lost to, and he also lost his title to Carlos Tamara. But the list goes on and on and on. He was a world champion in the junior flyweight division as well as the flyweight division. And like Carl says, he's going up against Chocolito Gonzalez, who's no slouch,
he's
man.
a bad man.
What's your thoughts on this one?
You know, I haven't seen Valerio fight, but I know about Gonzalez, and you know, I know what he's capable of, and I want to tend to agree with Carl on Gonzalez. I just don't know, Lauren.
Gonzalez might be one of the best fighters on planet Earth right now.
Right, pound for pound.
No doubt.
There's no doubt.
This kid, I wish he was a middleweight, and I had him.
If he was a heavyweight.
And I had him.
Yeah, but listen.
But the important thing is I had him. That's
right. You'd like him at flyweight, too.
I like him as a flyweight,
but
too.
he's 28 years old. He's 5'3".
Yeah.
He's got a 64-inch reach. Brian Valoria is, aside from the age, he's given up 6 years because Brian is 34 years old, but he's got an inch height on him, and he's got 2-inch arm reach on him. The thing is that Brian Valoria is not really a boxer.
No.
So he's not gonna be. Yeah, he's coming.
This is a train wreck.
This is an exciting fight. This is a Sal Cenicola fight.
This is my kind of fight. This is my kind of style. And you know what happens right now?
God, this is going to be the best fight.
If you just said earlier,
I'm not
this
sure.
is going to be a good co-feature fight. And you know what? We're going to see finally, hopefully, what we have been waiting to see in professional boxing, resurrected and coming back. This should be an excellent fight. I tend to think that it's going to be a great warm-up to the main event.
You know what? But listen, I just hope that Chocolito does not take this Valoria lightly. Because he can come in and be. I mean, one thing Brian Valoria can do is punch.
They don't call him the Hawaiian punch
he
for
can
nothing.
hit. He can flat out
Is that
punch.
where I came from?
Yeah.
And if that happens, and Chocolito doesn't, if it happens early and he doesn't, believes that this is a gimme, that's the only flaw that can happen in this fight. But I'm still sticking with this kid, who I think is the next best fighter, the superstar of all boxing, and Chocolito Gonzalez.
Unfortunately, he fights in a really low weight class, and a lot of fans don't follow it. And Carl is 100% correct. Pound for pound, he's one of the best. Young fighter. He's already 43-0 with 37 of his wins coming by knockout. The computer ranks him at number 1, just like our rankings. Brian Valoria is ranked at number 6 and has more lives than a cat that's been thrown out of a window. So, listen. I love this fight. This fight reminds me of the way pay-per-views used to be.
Yeah, when a certain somebody was doing
a certain somebody with a different hairstyle than you.
Yeah,
the bottom line.
The best is the best. What can I tell you?
Listen, this is what I loved. I told Sal about this card months ago. I said that this was going to be a good one. It is. These two fights, the co-main and main event, is going to be something that all boxing fans are going to enjoy. And I'll tell you what, it's also going to bring back new boxing fans if they give this fight a chance to and watch it. My official prediction is the same as these two guys. I'm picking Roman Gonzalez over Brian Valoria. And just like Carl, no disrespect to Brian Valoria, because he's such a fun fighter, and if it was anyone else other than Roman Gonzalez, I'd probably be going with Brian Valoria.
Brian has that one shot, if he can just land it.
Well,
and hasn't been done yet.
Well, Gonzalez, he's not afraid to go toe to toe. So we'll see. And he's given up the height, he's given up the reach, but he's also got 6 years youth on his side.
Utes?
Did
you say
He's
Ute?
got some Utes on his side.
Did you just say Ute?
Before we get to the main event, as we wrap up our pre-fight show here, I just want to thank our sponsors, Boxing Brain Health, which I'm going to give some samples. I'm going to give some samples to my man Carl and Sal,
help me,
because that'll increase That'll increase
Oleander Solis.
memory.
Okay, it just took a while.
Yeah, it just took a while. I got distracted.
There have been too many fights.
So check it out and find out what we're talking about. BoxingBrainHealth.com.
Let me write.
Also,
boxing what?
BoxingBrainHealth.com.
Write that
It helps
down.
your memory too.
Now, you can.
I got
it's
it.
not just for boxers; it's for all
I
athletes.
want
everything
some
else.
for real. I am very serious.
But you can also check it out on BillyCBoxing.com, and while you're there, get a copy of my book. Tom Molyneux from Bondage, the baddest man on the planet. Yeah, great book. You're going to see the review written by Carl King. LDL TV for making this all happening. And, of course, Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria, Restaurant, Italiana, where we're broadcasting live from right now. I want to thank
the
all of our...
only reason that we're here
that is
the pizza, baby.
You know, we kind of make it seem like we're doing this show, but it's really for the food that I come. You think I drive all the way from New York to come here for the fights?
You did. You
I'm
drove
going here for the food.
You drove all the way from New York.
But,
I know.
But that's
right.
look. I drove all the way
Pizza.
Unbelievable.
I came all the way from Palm Beach in reverse.
Yes,
but
you
listen,
did. You
we
did.
drove in reverse to
Listen,
get here.
all I'm saying is this. I'm from New York, and I came all the way here to Georgia for the pizza. Does that say it all? Come on.
Look,
Sal's
like,
Neighborhood Pizzeria.
absolutely.
You know how many trees I passed with big branches? Are you kidding me?
Well, that's a whole nother story in Georgia. But let's talk about the main event. The main event is a fight that I've been waiting for a long time.
This is a good one.
Triple G has, in my opinion, one of the best fighters out there, pound for pound, similar to Chocolito. A lot of people are accusing him of not fighting the best, but I'm going to give you what I believe is against that in a second. He steps in with David Lemieux. David Lemieux is a young fighter out of Quebec, Canada. He's 26 years old. He's only lost twice. In the first fight, his first loss, they were actually back-to-back against Joanne Alcine and Marco Antonio Rubio, and I think that the main reason was really two reasons. One, youth. I think that his experience or lack of just failed him, and conditioning, something that he's improved upon since those two losses. And remember, they came in 2011. David Lemieux is 26 years old, ranked number 5 by the computer in the middleweight division. He's currently the IBF World Middleweight Champion. 34 wins, 31 coming by knockout, and 2 losses in which he was only stopped once. He went the distance in his second loss, but seemed to have turned the tables around since then. His last 3 fights, all against quality opposition. Fernando Guerrero, he beat by knockout in May of last year. He stopped Gabe Rosado, who is a throwback fighter. Sal, if you've never seen him, you would love this guy. And in his last fight for the vacant IBF title, he beat Hassam Nadam, which was a pretty big win for him. Now he steps in the ring with my guy, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, who I think is probably a pound-for-pound top fighter out there today. Everybody loves him that watches him. He's undefeated, 33-0 with 30 knockouts. He's currently the WBA middleweight super champion, another BS title for the WBA, but he's also got the IBO and WBC interim champion. You see all this thing about the title?
I love the WBA.
But, you know what? When I was fighting, there was a lot less belts.
Yeah, but you know what? And there was a lot better fighters, but that's a whole other story. But Triple G is the real deal. There's no question about it. He's undefeated, 91% knockout ratio. Everybody says, oh, well, he hasn't fought anybody. You know, I was looking at his record today, and check out of his last 10 fights, 9 of them were against all top opposition, including his last several fights. Willie Monroe Jr. won the middleweight Boxino tournament. No slouch fighter there. Martin Murray stopped him. Marco Antonio Rubio, who's the guy who beat David Lemieux, he stopped him really quickly. Daniel Giel is a 2-time world title challenger. Asuman Adama, Curtis Stevens he beat. He's not a bad fighter. He's fought some tough opposition, and in my opinion, Carl, he's the best ring general in the sport. There's no one that controls the ring, in my opinion, like Triple G. What's your thoughts?
Well, that is debatable there. I think he's a complete fighter. He's one of the best punchers going, if not the single best puncher in the division. He's looking to do great things, and I think he's on the right track. It's hard to find flaws in him. The only flaw that I see at any particular time is that he has a tendency sometimes to get hit. And if he gets hit, David Lemieux has enough power to maybe get his attention. Now, whether he has enough power to get him out of there is another story. But we certainly know that Triple G has the power to get anybody out at any given time. And I think he's coming into his own. I think he's, 33 years old, I believe it is.
Yeah. But he's had such an extensive amateur career. He's not.
Yeah, and he lost to a guy in amateurs by Curtis Jones, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken. It wasn't he a guy that worked with you?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that Curtis Jones was one of the better amateurs, and it didn't pan out for him professionally. However, Triple G has a great trainer named Abel Sanchez. He's worked out in Big Bear, and which that altitude can do nothing but help you. And I think he's been rapidly improving. And being a gentleman certainly does not hurt his cause. He's a very, very nice young man. He's very likable. He's affable. I just think that he is a complete total package. It just don't get hit, and that's all. That's the only way that anything can go wrong tonight if he walks into something. And David Lemieux can punch.
Well, that's the name of the game, Sal. Don't get hit.
Don't get hit.
I mean.
But Triple G has gotten hit in his last.
He's
few fights.
but he's done that. He did the stupid thing by
for
saying.
What?
And that's stupid.
It is stupid. If he does the stupid thing,
he's not going to do that tonight. He's not doing it.
He better not do the stupid thing tonight.
If he does
the stupid thing tonight, it's going to be a stupid night for him, and it's going to be a bad result.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
So he can't do that, but he cannot make the mistakes that he's made in his last 2 or 3 fights.
What mistakes?
But putting his chin out there, trying to show that he can take it.
You mean like other fighters have done in the past too? Yeah, Carl, I agree with you.
Now with this, he doesn't need to play with this guy.
I agree with you.
Get in there, do what you got to do, get rid of him, because you can get rid of him. You should get rid of him. Don't play with David Lemieux, because he is not something to play with.
No, and I don't think he will.
I agree with you.
I don't think he will, Sal.
No, I don't think he will, because if he does, like you said, Lemieux's got the power. Lemieux's got some great power, and I'm going to tell you something. When I watch sometimes Triple G, he can end the fight with one shot. Yeah. That's no doubt.
And he's a great
body puncher. He's got all the moves. He's got defense. He's got offense. He's got the generalship, the ring generalship. What I see sometimes is when he throws a punch, he almost winds up with the other one. Like it drops it. Now, if Lemieux is cute and quick enough where he can, boom, come over the top or capitalize and time him. See, that's the whole thing we don't know. The quoting is what is going to happen. What is going on in a fighter's head? Well, can he read that? Can he lure him in? Can he feint him? Can he do it? These are the old professionals. This is the old way to figure out a fighter.
And I tell you another thing, and I don't want to sound repetitious or anything, but a lot of time a fight is won between the locker room and the ring walk to the ring. I've seen Mike Tyson win many fights. As soon as the inspector knocked on the opponent's door and said, "Time to go,"
Michael Spinks.
Michael Spinks was like, "Oh, and they froze up."
He froze, yeah.
And David Lemieux has not been in the ring with anybody close to Triple G in his ability to punch both head and body. So he could easily go out here and make one mistake and leave it out there a little too long. Make a slight move it's a game of inches. An inch to the left, an inch to the right, an inch
Isn't that a dance?
And an inch to the back, and it's good night, Irene.
Listen.
It could be a short fight. And this fight will surprise me if it goes beyond 6 rounds.
I don't think it's
either way.
No. But let me ask you this from a business perspective.
Yes, I'll take him.
David Lemieux is in a win-win situation even if he loses. Because he's not going to. It's not going to affect him.
It's how he loses.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
He could be carried out on a stretcher,
and it will matter.
I disagree.
Listen, you can lose to Alcine and Rubio in the manner that he went. I mean, Alcine was a 154-pound champion. He beat Travis Sims in Travis's.
Yeah, but he had moved up, didn't he? Wasn't he? Wasn't his best years even lower than that?
Well, But look, Daniel Santos took him apart in his hometown in Montreal. Took him apart. I mean, he destroyed Alcine. All I'm saying is that doesn't fare well for David Lemieux, who they were moving quickly to be that next guy in Canada. And this is not the guy to make a mistake against.
No.
When Triple G is a complete fighter. The only shot Lemieux, in my opinion, has is that Gennady makes any kind of mistake and maybe just gets caught cold.
Well, that's the
point.
That's the point, Sal. I think that David Lemieux's chance of winning this fight
is early.
Absolutely.
It's early, and I'll tell you, when I see some of Lemieux's fights, and I gotta say, I didn't know him. Didn't have any reason really to follow him, to care, until I started studying his film and his fights. I liked some of the fundamental things he executes very well. I like the fact he keeps his hands up. I like the fact that he can move. What I see that he can turn so well is that boom, that uppercut right there. He just comes boom right there and comes over the head.
But he learned it from his mistakes in those other fights,
and that's what a fighter that's learned.
Throwing an uppercut is a dangerous.
It could be a dangerous. It could be, but he threw it. He threw it very short, very sharp.
Yeah, but Carl, the issue is that fighters are overprotected so much that they don't learn from mistakes. I think Sal's right that David Lemieux has learned. He's a better fighter.
That's why he's here.
That's why he's here.
That's why he's here tonight.
Official prediction, Sal.
But you know, I became a Lemieux fan.
Okay.
When I started looking at his fights.
Step out there, Sal.
I'm going to put it on the line right now.
Step it out there, baby. I love you.
What I liked about Lemieux, and I could be completely wrong, but what I liked about Lemieux was even in the interview when he had, and early on, when he was asked, why are you taking this fight? You're an IBF champion. You can hang around, you can make a lot of money, you can win all these fights and defend your title. And you know what he said? He said, because everybody thinks Golovkin is the best fighter in the world. And I want to fight the best fighter in the world to prove I'm the best fighter in the world. I haven't heard that in decades, since Hearns and Hagler and my generation. I mean, that's a big point. I'm just saying right now, whether he was just putting that out there because it sounded good, or he actually believes it.
You changing my mind.
Well, let me tell you something. He said that, and I loved it. Because we talk about that every week, Bill. Why don't the fighters look to fight the best to be the best? That's what you do. You rise to the occasion, and that's what he's going to do this.
So are you picking him?
I'm picking him.
All right.
I'm picking Lemieux. I'm going out. I'm picking Lemieux.
That's it. All right, Sal.
Those punches.
I'm going.
Sal is picking David Lemieux. I love it.
Now you got me thinking.
I got the Call King thinking.
I'm thinking like Adrian Bronner. I'm gonna fight who I want to fight when I want to fight. I don't care what nobody says. And get paid.
Right.
Too bad I have to pick this fight tonight. As much as Sal is convincing, as much as David Lemieux can do this, he may just upset the world, but it's just not going to be tonight. Triple G inside of 4 rounds. That's my prediction.
Well, listen, earlier I said that Triple G, in my opinion,
Triple G
is got the best ring general.
Does that mean
in boxing? And Carl said that's a matter of opinion. Obviously, he thinks that there's someone else that is, but I think that Triple G is very underrated in how he controls the ring. When you watch him fight, and I think you're going to see that tonight, you're going to see him anticipating where David Lemieux is going to go. David Lemieux is going to try to go one way, and Triple G is going to be right there. David Lemieux is going to try to do X, and Triple G is going to be there with Y. Listen, I've said it all along since they announced the fight. Triple G, I love the fight, and just like Sal said, I respect David Lemieux a lot, and I'm a fan of David Lemieux, but Triple G is going to win this fight. This fight won't go 10 rounds, and I predict that this fight will be over within 6 rounds. Triple G by knockout. I just don't think that David Lemieux has much of a chance against Triple G.
You know what? Sal was very convincing, and we might be sitting here several hours from now saying, I told you David Lemieux
I
was
hope
that
he's
guy.
I hope he's
told you he can do it. He can. But you know what I
He
see?
said that if David Lemieux wins, free pizza for everybody. All right, Sal. All right.
Did I say that?
He said that. He said that. He
Wow.
said if David Lemieux wins, free pizza for everybody.
Well, I
That's a
guess
bit-
everybody here is going to be cheering for Lemieux.
Must have been a Freudian slip.
And but he also said if Triple G wins, the price doubles.
Oh, wait, whoa.
Okay, nobody likes that. Nobody wants to hear that. But
That's
I'm
why
going to tell you
Carl's going to
something.
promote my comeback.
No, I can.
Hey,
Listen,
hey,
I'm good,
oh,
man.
hey, I know.
Look, don't worry. With me, the difficult takes a day, the impossible a week. No problem.
Well, listen,
Look, let me just say this. If David Lemieux has a shot at winning this fight, it's going to be early. We said that earlier.
Yep.
And if he comes out there and fires at him and we get a firefight early, that's going to prove my point. And to be Triple G in 3 or 4
Or Lemieux in
rounds.
2. No, see, it rhymed.
We
Sound
rhymed.
good. We're good.
Well,
Lemieux in 2.
Lemieux in 2,
Or
Triple G in 3. I'm a poet if you didn't know it.
Well,
It runs in the family,
In,
Carl.
in any event, I can guarantee you this: it's going to be an exciting fight. And as soon as the fight is over, make
not-
sure you tune in right here,
Absolutely.
on LDL TV. We'll be doing a post-fight show.
Do not go get a hot dog. Don't go get pop. Get all that in the first 2 fights. Be ready for the last 2. Chocolito Gonzalez. Chocolito Gonzalez.
Gonzalez against Villora,
Right, and Triple
Lemieux
G.
against Triple G.
That's 2 great fights, and trust me, you will not regret this one. It's gonna be action packed. We'll see you afterwards.
I want to thank BoxingBrainHealth.com for all your brain needs.
Helping me.
Most people take care of their bodies, but they forget about their brain. So check this out. You'll learn what I'm talking about. www.boxingbrainhealth.com. I want to thank Southern Gourmet Spice Company for doing what they do. And, of course, Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Restaurant, where we're broadcasting live. And, of course, LDL TV. And, by the way, don't forget about our show, the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. We air live 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time every night. And you can find Sal on his night, Tuesday night. So don't forget to tune in as soon as the fight, the official announcement is made.
I don't even get it.
No, he doesn't. After the Triple G David Lemieux fight is over.
No brothers on the wall?
Tune it in right here. Until then, enjoy the fights.
No brothers on the wall, Sal? Sal's Pizzeria.
LDL TV streaming live to you the best in amateur USA and Golden Gloves events, professional boxing, live mixed martial arts, major concerts, music, comedy, special red carpet events, professional pool, beach volleyball, car racing, boat racing, live corporate events, and much, much more. All live to you in crystal clear, smooth streaming video. LDL TV, live down the line, the best every time. LDL TV streaming live to you the best in amateur USA and Golden Gloves events, professional boxing, live mixed martial arts, major concerts, music, comedy, special red carpet events, professional pool, beach volleyball, car racing, boat racing, live corporate events, and much, much more. All live to you in crystal clear, smooth streaming video. LDL TV, live down the line, the best every time.